Welcome back to Agent Tactics. This is another Thursday. I have an amazing guest. One of the things I've always struggled with is that I do not pay for any click ads. I don't pay for anything. I don't pay for any real marketing outside of the cost to create our video content. And so when a lot of people reach out to me on how to do paid ads, how to do it the right way, how to actually make money off of it, it is I always am like, I don't know. So Terri Kelley, who is an agent here at Real Broker, she actually has a really good system for this, and a majority of her business actually comes from her click ads. Terri, welcome.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? So you say I pay a lot, but I don't. I honestly, guys, I literally pay 500 bucks a month and sometimes not even that much. We have been doing organic stuff through social media for about 7 years now, and it comes through. But we just recently started our Google about 3 years ago, and our Google for me in our area is actually killing it. We probably get three to four calls a day from Google.
3 or 4 calls a day from Google. So from Google, what else are you doing as far as click ads? Any Facebook ads? What else?
So we're really targeting some of the stuff that Erica taught us on local ads through Facebook, but I'm
Okay.
not seeing the same reactions from Facebook as I see from Google. When I
Okay.
talk to people about Google and how good it performs for us, everybody says it doesn't do that for me. And so we've been trying to figure out why does ours work and theirs doesn't. And that's kind of been what we've been honing down on. I have people that have been diving into their Google for years and they're just not seeing the same returns that I'm seeing.
So primarily from Google business profiles then, correct?
Correct. We run
Perfect. And
LSAs.
and what market are you in?
I actually service three different areas. We target focus Valley, Alabama, and Columbus, Georgia, which Columbus is a major military town and Valley is a little small rural area in Alabama.
Okay. And each one of these Google business page, so they're all three different Google business pages you have. Nope,
Nope.
all one.
All one. I've learned that you run everything through one. It's hard to market multiple different areas that way, but for some reason it's working. And I think it's because we took so much time really diving into our website, and our website is so optimized that it tells all the locations that we are. So when people look me up, most of the time I come in the top three on different areas within a 50-mile radius.
This is through Agent Image.
Correct.
Okay. And so you're optimizing your Google clicks through here.
That's so I've been back and forth with Agent Image looking at the statistics as where everything's coming from. And we run a lot of ads around our new construction because I represent multiple builders. So
Okay.
with our builders, we're constantly running blogs and such that backtrack into our website. And so I feel like, in my opinion, it's the only thing I'm doing different than other agents that's getting us that information.
What is it you're doing different than other agents?
Just the website. I'm pouring more into my website than I am into the ads or into anything else.
Okay. So explain how you're pouring more into the website.
So we took with Agent Image and had them start running a blog that they just SEO packed every month in different locations that we service. So in the military, they ran a blog for that for the whole month. And we started seeing all the clicks come through from the military because it was relocation time. Then we run through our different builders. And so we would SEO optimize that part of it. And for whatever reason, because of that, they started popping through on Google. And we don't do a lot of lead capture. You can stay on the page as long as you want. And so that's something we're changing right now, just so that we can get a little more grasp on that aspect of it.
Okay. So basically what you're doing is doing more blogs, right? So
Right.
SEO driven blogs on here. And then so what that is doing is driving traffic to Google Business. Um, I'm curious, because on here I don't see any blogs or a link to your blogs.
I think it's just what you were just reading. We write everything on those. So it's not like truly just blog areas.
Okay.
We've just optimized all the wording in there.
Okay. And then so, but then you're running you're spending advertising dollars on Google Business or from the website.
So on Google, we run LSA ads.
Okay.
And I apologize. I have to ask my VAs what they do because I tell them what to do and they go do it and they're great at it. So basically, what she told me yesterday is we're running a campaign for the LSA that's a business category of real estate agent. We target our areas, which is our focus areas. We run 24/7 with higher visibility during work hours at $18 a day. And then we do a per lead strategy. So last month it had 920 clicks, 77,000 impressions, and it cost me $245.
Are you able to share screen so we can see what you're looking at? I allowed it on there, so.
She literally typed it to me.
Okay.
So bear with me. Like I said, I don't run the stuff. They run it for me. So
Okay.
I know what we're doing. I know what I want to do, but I'm not the technical guru. I just am good at real estate, but I'm not good
Okay.
at back end stuff.
I can decode some of this.
Please, please, Christy.
Okay. So, and this was my question, Terry. And so, um, because Google has a lot of different things, and you are running several different strategies on here. The blogging strategy is for SEO. And I can tell you guys, if you haven't jumped on that, you definitely need to, because it is working for a lot of my coaching clients. So, and the way that she had her website structured, and this is why it's really great that you're not, personally hacking this, that you do have your website company. So when Jeremy had your website up there, the way that it was structured is how AI and how Google will read it. So she has that military section, she has that new construction section. And while it's functioning as a blog, the way that you have it structured gives you increased visibility, is the easiest way that I would say it. So the blogging is in conjunction with her Google business profile and it supports, but the way that your leads are coming in through your Google local service ads, or the LSA ads, that's completely different. That's
Okay.
actually, so that's where the money that you're spending on your blogs is going to drive traffic to your website, which could get you registrations and could get you direct calls. That is a strategy in of its own. Your Google local service ads. So when you were sharing your screen, you were show me that again, but it looked like you were bidding per lead. Your budget was,
$18.
yeah. So, okay. So when you're setting up your Google local service ads, now depending on your website provider, sometimes like Ylopo, if you're a Ylopo user, they'll run Google local service ads for you. There are companies that will run your Google local service ads. You can also run your own LSA ads. You just have to be aware. There's two different bidding strategies. So she's actually bidding strategy per lead. So she's paying per lead. Now, what that means is that she only pays if it's an actual lead. That's one of my favorite things about Google local service ads, is that you don't pay for things that you don't get.
Right.
So her bidding strategy is, or her budget's $18 a day. And I would be curious if you asked her what you're actually paying per lead. Like in the Phoenix metro area, I can bid up to $1,000 per lead. So with the bidding strategy of per lead, it depends on your marketplace. In rural areas, the cost per lead is significantly lower, and you can just max out your daily budget if you wanted to, or you could do a max budget, and then they decide based on how many people are bidding what the cost per lead will be. So so there's two different bidding strategies, and it looks like your overall budget of $18 a day, but you're also doing a max per lead budget.
Yeah.
And that's just Google local service ads. And if we were to, like, if Jeremy, if you Googled her area, like best agent in, and then her area, the people that show up on the top, that's a Google local service ad. It's not a Google map ad or a Google business placement. That's a Google local service ad. So it sounds like your leads you're getting the direct calls from Google local service ads. You're getting registrations potentially from your website, or people who find your phone number on your website and are reaching out directly to you because they read a blog, or because you were suggested when maybe they did a search about relocating or new construction in XYZ city, and then your website either showed up. So it sounds like you're actually getting, Google is working for you, but it's because you're working Google in multiple ad categories, not just in one. Are you guys running Google pay-per-click ads as well?
All I'm spending is 500 or less. And so if this was 247, then I would say the answer is no.
So it's just so okay. So that's a good that's good for everybody to hear. She's only paying for Google local service ads. She's not running Google pay-per-click ads. She's maximizing her search optimization through her website and her blogs. And I'm going to make an assumption that they're also putting the blogs on your Google business profile and maximizing the posting strategy from your Google. Okay, yeah. So she's utilizing her Google business profile in conjunction with her website, but she's not actually running a Google pay-per-click ad, which would say, which is different than a Google local service ad. That's pretty good. She didn't even spend $500 last month. How many leads did you get?
Thank you for explaining what I'm doing, Christy, because I honestly, like, I hear, like, right, I've gone to all my coaches, I've gone to all the things, and they say, run these ads. And thank goodness I have the right back end staff that knows how to do those things for me, because if without it, I wouldn't be able to do it.
So how many leads with the 200 and something ad spend last month? How many registrations? How many leads? How many appointments?
So I could show you this. This is from last year. Well, this is from 2024. So for the last 30 days, 861 clicks cost me $569. Now, how many have I converted and how many have I actually closed? We'll say probably we did 13 closings this month. 8 of them were from Google Leads.
Wow.
And what's your average price point?
My average price point is $250 now. A lot of the stuff that is coming through for our new construction, which we heavily market, and then our military. We do a lot of military relocation.
So your cost per closing is less than like $75 based on what you just said.
Right. And we've considered upping the budget and etc. But I had to just get with the website company again this week because I'm doing a little bit of changes, but they refuse to let me change it because they want to make sure I'm not killing something that's actually generating me money.
And actually that brings up a good point. So in terms of your Google local service ads, you only paid the 500 and something, but what's the cost of the company who's writing the blogs and putting them on your website and managing the meta tags and all of the back end structure for you to be able to get that?
So honestly, I ran it for 6 months. It was $1,000 a month for them to do it. I ran it for 6 months and then I stopped it because in my opinion, I wasn't getting anything. But now that we go back and look at it, it actually was generating a lot. So we may pick it back up. And at $1,000 a month, plus the 560, whatever, 569 I spent last month to get those conversions is still way better numbers.
Yeah, because you're talking 8 closings this month on average at 250. I always usually put things at 2.6 commission versus 3% commission because that's how things roll. We're talking $52,000 on a $1,500 buy-in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad way. I mean, if I could go to roulette table and throw $1,500 on the table and get 52 grand back in 30 days, I probably would.
Right.
I'd do that every month, actually. It's a good idea. It's not a bad idea at all.
Anything that you guys are running that you think like I should change on that? You think I should throw more money at it?
Can you manage it?
That was my question.
Yeah, I can manage it. I mean, again, if I'm spending 5, why not spend 1,000, especially with the returns, or why not spend 1,500?
Yeah, I mean, run it till the wheels fall off. I am also curious about the incubation time and the lead follow-up because I think this is where I see most. So a lot of agents will tell me, well, Google doesn't work. The leads are really far out. So I find that Google local service ads leads though are much farther down the funnel than a Google pay-per-click. But from the time that you guys get the lead to the time that it closes, what's the incubation time and what does that follow-up look like?
So the way that we run our stuff is if you're a buyer or you're a seller, for whatever reason, I have not interviewed for a listing lead in years. And I feel like it's because I put everything out there about me and what we do and who we are. So when they call me, they're mostly come list me calls. It's like, hey, I saw your stuff. I know who you are. I see all your reviews. I want to do business with you. When they say that, I schedule an appointment with them. They get a high note, which again gives them all the information about me, sends them back to the website, sends them back to all the things. So by the time I'm walking in the house, it's literally a 15-minute conversation of, here's what I think your house is worth. Here, you already know what I'm going to market. I can tell by my high notes what's important to them. So I study that prior to going to the listing, and because they've clicked on it and it's told me that's where they spent time. And so I talk to them. I have a decent little conversation around their home, maybe what needs to be done, and we say, okay, are you taking the 7 days to get it ready or the 14 days? Because we have two different marketing plans for that. Now the buyer calls, it's the initial conversation of, hey, come sit down with me. Let's do a Zoom. Where is your credit score now? What are you looking like? Okay, so then I can place them as to how long they're out on my timeline. Like, okay, you want to get started, but you got a 550 credit score. So we're starting you as a buyer consult with a credit consult. Okay, now we've seen your credit. We know what to do. Now we have a timeline for that. But I'm all about nurturing them no matter where they are in the process to get them to the finish line. Most of the time when they're on Google and they're searching or they come from Google, they know they're ready to go. Most of the time, my Facebook or my TikTok or whatever followers are coming as the I need credit help or I need something help. So for me, unless they're rentals, and I even try to convert renters, unless they're rentals, all my Google stuff seems to come in as authentic, ready to go.
And so you mentioned a high note. What other tools are, I'm curious, and you know, someone else can ask questions here too, but what other tools are you using to nurture and convert these leads?
So we have our follow-up boss automations. Obviously, we use Elena Key to set those up. So we just kind of keep updating those and maintaining those. We used another lady to set up and follow up boss also a transactional checklist. So all that stuff's in there. But that's it. I mean, really just rolling through the follow-up boss, having the automations, making sure we put them in the correct categories, and then just staying on top of our stuff as it comes in. I use High Note, but I also use Flipbook, which pulls back into almost the same information as High Note. So those are the tools we're using. And now we've been trying hard to build our YouTube. Obviously, not as good at as it is some people, but we're really trying to work on YouTube right now to get those leads funneling through.
Now, I'm curious, spending the money on YouTube, why not just keep focusing on what I mean, if you're getting 50 grand a month off of this spend, why would you even spend the time doing YouTube?
Well, so I mentioned I live in a rural area, right? And so this rural area is growing. People, when they think about where we are, they don't, did I freeze? Oh, crap.
You froze, but it's all
Okay.
right. Keep going.
People don't think about this town, and we live on the border of Georgia. So when you drive through, you'll drive 20 minutes to go to Auburn, which is a bigger town, or you'll go north, which is a bigger town. So we want people to learn what this area is. So my YouTube right now is building up this area because I have 300 houses between my new construction builders that I'll be listing over the next 3 years. I got to get them sold. So I've got to sell people on stopping in this town and actually wanting to live here. So when I focus on YouTube right now, that's my focus, is why this area.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost not build up a whole YouTube channel on it and waste the time. If you can put in 8 videos, just 8 videos about the area, where to live, why you want to live here, why this over that, and just create like 8 videos and just ran ads, like use like, if you're already spending money on, ads, right? Because you're going to build up this YouTube stuff and it's probably going to go nowhere because you don't have a lot of consistency unless you build 3 years of good content, right? Or 2 years of good content. I would almost take some of that long form stuff and put that into clips and run ads on it on YouTube or run ads somewhere else. But
Okay.
I can tell you, building a YouTube channel is not for the faint of heart. It takes a long time. And if you're already having success with all of this other stuff, I wouldn't take your eye off the ball. I would keep just running more ads on new construction. I mean,
Okay.
Coach, tell me where I'm wrong.
Yeah, I like that though.
I don't know. I don't know that you're wrong. I actually was going to ask you, Jeremy, should she, with this idea of needing to, I almost look at these 300 homes as a project, right? So a lot of times I work with agents and brokerages that'll take on a project, take on a development, and they launch separate websites for the project, separate YouTube channels, separate social media. And I was going to ask Jeremy, is this something she should run as a project, or should this just be a playlist on her channel?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like with YouTube, if you're gonna make videos for a bunch of these listings, then that needs to be a whole channel in itself. If you're doing a whole thing about the area, that's a whole channel in itself. And that could be, here's the 5 developments and here's the 5 new construction builds you get in this development or something like that. But if you're doing property tours, that needs to be its own channel. So that's what I'm saying. I could tell you my videographer alone costs me 5 grand a month. And then I got somebody who does all the posting for me, and that's a couple grand a month, right? And so we're talking $7,000 a month, and I'm probably, doing well, but as far as like, making 50, $60,000 a month like you are, but just from the video content, but my spend is also $7,000, where it's a lot cheaper just to run click ads if you're running click ads. Now, the thing is, what you're doing isn't going to get you referrals. What I do gets a lot of referrals because agents see it, right? Because
Mm.
agents are looking for it. So you may not get as many referrals from it. And so that's the other part of our business is we get so many agent referrals from all over the country because of the YouTube channel. So that's an extra part of it. You're probably not going to get that until you really, really build that part up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the good thing, in a sense, I get referrals, but I don't get a lot because I'm not in an area where people are moving to.
Right.
The only reason they come here is for the military, and so I do get the military referrals from a lot of other places, and I have the connections for that. But none of the stuff that I'm doing, in my opinion, is coming from a referral staff. So that's a good part.
Yeah.
I sat down at Blueprint and I talked to Jason about that same thing. Like, my builders want recognition in their own way. So do they get their own website? Do I build their own channels? Do I market them separately? Or do everything that I do points back to my stuff? Because it's still me in a sense. And he kind of said the same thing, like, somehow let them have their own thing and then don't point it back to you because it's still their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend the money on building websites and videos for them, it's got to point back to you. I don't know why I would point it back to them.
Because I'm still the one lead capturing. I'm still the one that needs to run it all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Pra-
on your
pra-
website, could they each have their own, you know, they're almost like community essentially, right? So gets their own landing page with their floor plans and the incentives, but it's still on the Terri Kelley website.
And
yeah.
so that's actually what I'm working with the Agent Image right now on doing, because currently I have a thing that says new construction and it has the 2 different subdivisions, but it's not, I don't like it. So I'm trying to pull pieces out, but again, they're supposed to get back with me today to let me know if the things that I want to change are making any money, because I don't want to break that up either.
All right. I want to go back to the click ads thing. So with the click ads, you're saying that the LCAs, which is say that, what does that mean again?
The
LSAs?
LSAs, local
Yeah.
service ads.
Local service ads. And you're running, and so basically what coach is saying over here, and coach being Christy Jinks, um, you're running, basically you're bidding on leads, right?
Paying per lead, yeah.
Paying
So
per
I have
lead,
a
right?
bid amount, correct?
Right. And so again, the math on that is that you're spending about $1,500 a month total. Now you said you stopped doing it though, but what part of
No,
that did you stop?
I stopped them doing the monthly $1,000. I stopped that. I stopped
Okay.
that back in January.
Okay. And so now, but they're still building out everything for you. They're still doing the blogs. Is that right?
I haven't ran them since January.
Okay. Because you didn't think the blog. So I guess my question is, if you were building blogs, was it actually, and that was driving SEO, was that actually getting business? So I
Yeah.
guess that's the question.
Because if you look at last year over this year, it maintained mostly, but it actually increased a little bit. So I do think that optimizing it the most, kept it coming in. But we really started honing down really hard on Google about a year and a half ago. So now when you look at all the stuff we've done on social, if I go and look at where all my leads are coming from, 60% or 70% of my leads all come from Google.
So this is where I would press the company harder, is you can't just say Google, because Google has so many different products,
Okay.
right? And Google also owns YouTube. So you could run YouTube ads, that's a Google ad. A Google pay-per-click is Google. LSA is Google. Local search is Google, right? Like, I mean, and then you can do things within your Google business profile. So it's all going to fall under this umbrella of Google. But what you're actually doing is very different. They're very different strategies, right? Like spending Some agents spend a lot of money on Google pay-per-click. And that's what I'm curious with that $1,000 ad spend. Was that on Google pay-per-click? Meaning when someone says Quebec properties, they're searching for new construction, and I don't know the name of the city that the Quebec is in, but if they're searching new construction, that's going to show up at the top of a Google search, and they're going to click on that, and that's impressions and clicks, which would lead to registrations on your website or direct calls. And if you're doing that, you should be able to track that. Like, we should be able to track the Quebec properties ad clicks to conversions to registrations on Follow Up Boss. You know, that's a Google pay-per-click ad. If it was a local search ad, that means that you're usually in a map or in a map setting, and you're searching new construction, and then that location, or PCSing in that location, and that just shows your Google business profile at the top of the map. That's a local search ad. And those are pretty inexpensive, and they're very effective as well, but it's a different strategy than a local service ad. And a local service ad shows at the top of the Google search when you search listing agent, buyer agent, and those are keyword bidding strategies. You're still doing those ones, and that's the budget of $500 a month. So I would want to dig in to the company that's running your website. Where were they allocating that money? How much was on ad spend, and how much was it on servicing, and then what type of ads? Because I would also make a point that, like, I went through on your new construction, the Crown Development only had 2 blogs. The Quebec Properties has a fairly long page, but not really blog. It would be like 1 blog. And so, and now I didn't click on the military one. That one has significantly more. So it looks like they've built out SEO friendly pages on the website. Jason Pantana has put together some incredible tools to be able to pump out blogs for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
So if they're charging you $1,000 a month just to post 4 times a month on your website, I don't think that's worth it. But if it's $1,000 a month and they're doing 4 blogs and they're managing an ad spend, that's a little bit different. So I would get clarity on how that money is being allocated and what type of leads. And then the reporting back to you should be, at the end of the day, that advertising money should result in calls and actual registrations, and they should be able to track that for you.
Good advice. I'm going to get on them. We have a meeting this afternoon, so I'm going to get on with them and see if I can figure that out. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Google business. We don't spend any money on advertising or clicks. I have a VA that posts on here, and I was looking at it yesterday because I get the message, and I mean, we're getting calls and click-throughs to our website on it about, 1 a day at least, right? So you're talking, it's like on here it's saying 118 interactions, but when it comes to click-throughs, it's like 1 a day. So that's not bad, I don't think, for not having to pay.
Not with any money. Yeah.
But also we're in a service area and not from an address like looped around. So that's the only, like, I think that's what's hurting ours is I don't have it penned as an address. It's just like we work these areas. You know what we should do, Coach, is we should like do a whole spin-off from Agent Tactics where it's just, we're helping agents together. That would be cool. Anybody up for that?
Oh, that sounds fun.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun.
One thing that I would want to point out for anybody running Google local service ads, and Terri probably knows about this. It's the interesting thing about GSLA ads is that you only pay when you pick up the phone and it's an actual client. So let's say that, we get these calls from stagers and photographers, and you guys know what I'm talking about, right? They find your Zillow profile phone number, or they find your Google business phone number, and then they call you. And kudos for them for cold calling and trying to get business, but I don't want to pay for that as an ad, right? And so this is a really, really key feature. Google only gets paid when Terri picks up the phone, or someone on Terri's team, right? And so if you're going to put money towards Google local service ads, they will not give you leads if you don't pick up the phone, because they don't make money. If they try to send it to Tom and Tom doesn't pick up, then they're going to say, yeah, Tom doesn't pick up, so I'm not going to send him leads. So a really important strategy with Google local service ads is that you actually have the ability to answer when they call. It's a live transfer essentially. There's an actual person on the line. It's not just oh, I got a lead and I'm going to call. It's an actual person on the phone trying to speak to an agent. They track that too. So if I were to find Terri through a Google local service ad, I'm not actually going to see her cell phone number. Google has her phone number masked. And now, Terri, do you program that into your phone? So when your phone rings, you know it's a local service ad?
No, and here's the thing is that a lot of times they come through as spam calls. And so you don't know who's calling. So you still have to answer all the time. And if I could really quick, I'll just show you this. This is a breakdown to tell you that they're paying attention.
Yep.
Like it's in review, meaning they're scanning that call to make sure it was actually a real call. So I get a lot of renters. I'll still try to convert the renter, obviously, but it'll give me a credit back. So it says I've got $67 in credit for next month's leads because it's checking that.
Now I can give you a hack for that, Terri.
Okay.
And this is one of the first things I did with Jeremy when I became his coach is, so my Google products have their own phone number. So my Google local service ad, I don't actually use my cell phone number with Google.
Okay.
I use a trackable phone number, and it still routes to me, and not just to me. I'm able actually to route it to my entire team.
Okay.
I can waterfall that, meaning I can have it come to Christy first, and if after 3 rings Christy doesn't answer, send it to Meryl. I can simultaneously send it to us, so we could do broadcasting. But what that allows me to do is it allows me to actually program anytime someone's ringing that phone number, I know it's a Google local. So my phone will actually, let's see, I probably have some missed calls on here. So this is not bueno for me to show you guys. Yeah, here we go. So you can see yesterday I had 2 missed calls on my phone from Google Local. The way that I'm able to do that is because I'm using a specific phone number with my Google Local Service ads. So I do the same thing with my signs. So my signs have their own phone number, and that also allows me to take a vacation because I can take myself off of that call and send it to Jamie, right? Or I can say, okay, Jamie, Tammy, and Terri, you guys go speed to lead. Again, I can waterfall. So when someone calls me from my Zillow profile, it on my registration, it says Zillow profile. That centers me to know who I'm picking up for. Same with my Google local service, same with my sign call. And so it allows me to track, Google's tracking that, but I really like it as well because then I get less, I'm not getting the spam. Is that she's right, you have to pick up, otherwise, it's not going to. But it also allows me to have more coverage because I'm not the only person that it's ringing. It's actually ringing everybody that I have on leads for at the time. The other thing that it does, Terri, is it allows it to immediately create a lead in my CRM. So anytime I get a phone call, I don't have to go in and manually put that lead in because let's also face it, we're busy, we're on the road. Half the time we're taking calls, we're not sitting at our desk with a pen and our CRM open and, a candle lit, not everything perfect, right? It's like we're, in a house with bad reception, you know what I mean? And so it does that too. But what were you going to say?
That's a great idea because I do have a team and I try to figure out how to push it through to the team. So what service is that you got those from?
The one that there's actually a lot of different services. So you're going to want to, I would suggest looking at a couple different ones. We use a system called CallRail. And the reason that I ultimately picked that one is it's very robust and it's very inexpensive. My current spend on CallRail is $35 a month. I actually don't know how many phone numbers I have right now, but I've had up to 10 phone numbers. So for instance, expired listings are really, really big. The listing success rate here in Phoenix right now is 62%. So that means more than a third of all the listings are expiring. So anytime I'm mailing expireds or I'm doing anything, I'm utilizing my expired phone number. So when I get a call, I know how many calls I've gotten, and it registers in my CRM as an expired lead as the source. But there's Call Action, Call Rail, Call Fire. Oh my gosh, there's so many different companies. My criteria for a call company that I'm going to use is that it will broadcast. So again, that's lead, that's kind of going out to multiple people. I want to be able to broadcast and I want to be able to capture. And that means that even if they dial once and hang up. So this is something we use in our listing presentation. I'll actually tell people, and I use a sophisticated technology that allows me to never miss a call. If someone's driving by and they think they see the for sale sign and then they get scared and hang up, I get their phone number and we immediately call them back. So the capture is the second piece. I want it to be able to create a lead inside Follow Up Boss. And then the third that I do, and this varies by state. I live in the Wild West, so I don't need permission to record my calls. It records every single phone call. And so call capture, call broadcast, and call recording. It also does support texting. So if someone sees it on the sign or they see my phone number, somewhere on a postcard or something, and they decide to text me, it does support that and will still create the lead for me.
I have a question. So whether you're doing LSA or you're talking about call rail or something like that, are you able to have hours where you're not operational because Joe Blow is up from 2 to 4 in the morning and just calls? I mean, how does that work?
Well, I mean, I think, Tom, the answer to that is just put permissions on your phone. You know what I mean? Because it's the same thing. If they get your cell phone, there's nothing that's going to prevent them from calling you at 11 o'clock at night. I just silence all my phone calls after a certain time, unless you're programmed in my phone a specific way. Actually, it's a really interesting thing. How many of you guys with the recent updates have made it? This is good and bad. Now I have a lot of support staff and I have a lot of call routing in place to support this. But like, if you're not programmed in my phone, I don't think I have Terri programmed in my phone. If Terri called me right now, she would go directly to voicemail because she's not programmed in my phone. That's an interesting dynamic that we're going to have to be dealing with. And I saw a recent post too that's going to start happening with text messages even. And I think about that. But I have rules in place on how my phone rings and how my messages come through, and that's to protect my distraction time. If I was a solo agent and didn't have support staff and team members and things like that, I probably wouldn't have my phone locked down as much as I do right now.
Tammy in the comments here says, I don't pay anything for Google, but I DM'd me privately, so maybe she meant to put this on the main one, but this is a good one. I don't pay anything for Google, but I do have someone on Fiverr post Q&A for me. How much is that, by the way?
I was having him do 4 a day for 30 days for $30.
That's awesome. Everybody
that's
R&D that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll share his information and he writes the questions and the answers and he posts. I don't do anything. I mean, I did tell him to make it SEO optimized. Make sure you put in there, my name, my brokerage, make sure you put my area. But outside of that, he researches what the questions are going to be and the answers.
You said that when you go to incognito mode that you show up for real estate. I see leads go into the CRM and I rank them 8 through 15. What's 8 through 15?
So when I go incognito and I look up like real estate, Gainesville, Florida, or, Realtor, Gainesville, Florida, I will rank anywhere between 8 and 15 after sponsored ads. And I don't have as many reviews as many of the other places that other people do. So I'm happy to rank where I'm at for 0 ad spend and the few reviews that I've got. And I do ask for reviews. Many of my people that I work with are doctors or very high-end professionals, and they don't want to write a review, or certainly don't want their photo taken either.
Yeah, yeah. A doctor that wants good, solid reviews to give to the public won't give anybody else a review. It's
Yeah.
real friendly.
Jamie does have a question. He says, is this through a CRM? Can we do the phone number through Lofty? Yes, so you can. Is it Follow-Up Boss? You can have a Follow-Up Boss phone number. You can have a Lofty phone number. I don't use my CRM phone number just because, and you can do that. The reason I don't is because I want to be able to track the lead source. And so if you're just using your Lofty phone number, which if you're not utilizing your CRM phone number, I highly recommend that you do, because again, wherever you put that phone number, it's going to generate a lead. If someone calls you and they're not in your CRM, it generates a lead. If they text you from a postcard or anything like that, and then also if they're programmed in your CRM and you have that, you're using the app, then it'll show up that Jamie, is calling me. And so that's a great place to start, is to utilize your CRM phone number. And quite frankly, the CRMs are accelerating with AI at such a rapid pace. I love Follow-Up Boss's new what is it, AI summary or AI insight or something like that, where it's not just taking your calls and summarizing the calls and creating action items. They rolled that out a long time ago, and that's probably one of my favorite tools. But now they're even summarizing the entire lead from the inception, the action that the leads are taking. And I know Lofty has similar technology. Lofty's my second favorite CRM. Follow-Up Boss is my first, and I don't get paid to say that. The reason I only rank Follow-Up Boss higher than Lofty is because they have way more APIs with third-party companies. The downside to Follow-Up Boss is they don't have a website. So you do have to get a separate website with an IDX. And that's why I do like Lofty for the simplicity of it, and for the simplicity of the way that they structure their websites to be able, because the second question that he asked is how important is the website to this process? For her Google local service ads, it's not as important. For the other items that she's doing for her Google business profile and just search engine optimization, it's pretty dang important. And with the way that, and maybe this is what we talk about next week, Jeremy, I'm not sure. You got to tell me what we want to talk about, but the way that the large language models, so ChatGPT and Claude and Grok and Perplexity, the way that they are making suggestions to the users is coming. They rank websites like Zillow pretty dang high, but then you'll actually be really irritated if you go into like a ChatGPT and you say, I'm thinking about selling my home in, I forget where Tammy said, but I think you said Florida somewhere, right? I'm thinking about selling my home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm looking for a luxury agent. If you do that search in your service area, you'll probably be irritated because some agent's going to show up there and you're like, they don't even sell that much real estate. And when you look at the sources cited, it's going to show you a Fast Expert profile, potentially just an agent's blog. And this is why the websites become so important, is because you can write the narrative on your Google business profile, on all of your online profiles, top 1% agent, best agent I strive to be the best agent in Queen Creek, Arizona, right? You can control the narrative, and the large language models, if you're just structuring it correctly, they will suggest you to people. So the website it's becoming very, very important, and you can influence it pretty quickly through blogging and just having the right structured content.
Can I add something, Christy? And I'd like your feedback on this too. I'm also training my GPTs. Like, I have a conversation with them all the time. I make them learn me. So because I did do a sample and I said, who's the best real estate agent in my area? And my GPT gave me 2 other people. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not cool. So now I'm training my GPTs, like, ask me what you need to know so that when someone does ask you this question, you're automatically giving them my name. And I've been doing that now with Phil for about a month.
Is your ChatGPT named Phil?
No, Phil Curtis. Me and Phil have been, we go back and forth with a lot of things. Sorry.
Because my name, my GPT, mine is Chad. So my
Okay.
family knows my ChatGPT's name is Chad. That's why I was like, did she name hers Phil?
No, I didn't.
You know, I think this will actually be a good topic for next week. And
Yeah,
maybe we
let's
can
do
we
it.
can pitch this. So how about next week? What I'll do is I will um take you through a process of how you can influence all of the large language models, and how you can audit how you show up. So what Terry's saying is, you know, she's asking some questions, she's probing. So um, I haven't done this with Jeremy because we are working on so many different projects. So this will even be a learning thing for him. But I can take you through a process that I learned from Jason Pantana. And there, you know, we have a prompt even that you can use with the large language models. But your bios are incredibly important and incredibly powerful. That's just one piece, though. It's really paying attention to the sources. So yes, you can train your AI, but if you really want to influence, you know, how you show up, you need to look at your bios and you need to look at the sources. So it's interesting if you use Perplexity, Perplexity loves Reddit. Well, then you have to decide, do I want to have a Reddit strategy, right? And why does Perplexity like Reddit? Grok also likes Reddit. Yelp. Grok and Perplexity love Yelp. I'm noticing that ChatGPT is picking up more on Yelp right now as well. And so then you have to decide, do I have a Yelp strategy? Do I have a bio? Do I have, you know, reviews? All of them favor Zillow. Well, why do they favor Zillow? Well, Zillow is a third-party site and it can it can read certain things. It can read how many sales she's had, right? So it knows how many sales she's had. It can read her bio. It cannot read how many reviews you have accurately, and it cannot read the scent. It can and it can't read your reviews. Zillow has some technology in there that doesn't allow the site to be completely crawled like that. But you can influence that. That's one of the things that Jason Pantana taught is you should actually say in your bio how many 5-star reviews you have, how many overall sales you have. But it favors Zillow. And so you have to be very cognizant. We dropped our Zillow strategy for the past, I want to say 5 or 7 years because we were so focused on Google. Well, when ChatGPT and all of these other large language models started using Zillow as the #1 way to rank agents, I was like, now I got to go back and make sure we're getting Zillow reviews and doing some of that. But it loves Fast Expert. When's the last time that you updated your Fast Expert profile, or do you even have a Fast Expert profile? You should. Why? Because every single large language model, when asked to rank real estate agents, will refer to Fast Expert. That's crazy.
So another question I guess I would tag on to that is we've been working on our Wikipedia doing media releases because it's recognizing that as a search engine too.
Yep.
So that's the other thing that we're building out now is everything's linking back into the Google.
You have to, and that brings up a good point, Terry. You have to prioritize, right? Because again, where's LinkedIn fall in this? Where does Instagram fall? And actually, that's who's your Instagram specialist, Jeremy? We need to have them on because one of the things that I'm noticing, if you're doing searches in like the past 10 to 14 days, it's pulling up Instagram posts. So I did a search on Monday. You know, I'm thinking about selling my Huntington Beach home this summer. And the very first in the AI summary, so in Gemini's AI summary, the very first recommendation was some random person's Instagram post. It wasn't even a good one, but it was structured. It was just a photo, and then it said the 5 reasons to sell your Huntington Beach home this summer.
Yeah, I
And
think that released like last month when Instagram started beating Google.
yeah, so you know, but you got to say, okay, do I want to be on TikTok and Snapchat and LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and Reddit and Yelp and right? You're gonna have to prioritize your content strategy to your strengths.
That's gonna be a good one for next week. I love it. I love it. We only got a couple minutes left. I gotta jump off. Coach has got coaching calls for all of our other amazing clients. What
I
questions we
do.
got before we go?
Good. Thank you guys so much. This was a good call.
Thank you,
Yes,
Terry.
I'm looking forward to next week. I always look forward to my coaching calls, even though when I come on, I'm already have the tissue off to the side. So it's okay. I mean, she's not the meanest coach, but
Not mean. I'm excited to be here. I'll bring the thunder next week and we'll give you some actionable steps to be able to influence how you show up in AI and in search.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys.
love it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Also, oh, before you take off, so I put 2 more links down there. The second one actually goes to where you can get the playbooks for this, takes you to the YouTube channel, takes you to all of the fun stuff. So definitely copy that, get in there. All of that's free, by the way. The only thing that I charge for is if you ever take my YouTube class on there. That's the only thing, it's like 25 bucks. So other than that, it's all free. So copy that, use it, get on to the next one, sign up for the email list because we send out stuff in the email list as well. We don't spam you for anything. We'll ask you 1,000 times to come to Real Broker. I'm kidding. We never even asked that question. So, all right, we'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much.